Hi, welcome to this 30-minute yoga practice. I'm Andrea, and I'm so glad you're here with me. To be an advanced yogi is to fully embrace who we are, to do things our own way, not to feel like there's a right or a wrong, per se, to be in the moment fully present. I'm standing on a yoga mat. If you don't have one, that's fine. A carpeted area is great. You just want to make sure it's not slippery. I also have my chair, which I would highly recommend for this practice. A couple of blocks, if you have thick books, that, especially in combination with your chair, might work. And a folded blanket, maybe you have a big beach towel, so that when we come down onto our knees or come onto the floor, we have a little padding or a little bit of further ease. We'll get started standing in the bedrock of all poses, our Tadasana mountain pose. Feet hip distance. Turn your palms away from one another, but let that start at your shoulder joints. And then smile your collarbones open. Feel into your balance, a little side to side, a little forward and back. Let it be that you feel all 4 points of both feet on the ground, big toe mound, pinky toe mound, and the 2 points at the heel. Even just standing in our mountain is a little bit of a balancing pose. We want to think hips over heels, and then building, scaling our mountain, shoulders over hips over heels, and then lean your head back just a little so it's ears over shoulders, over hips over heels. Either gaze at the bright horizon in front of you, or maybe even play with closing your eyes so that we can find our breath here. The essence, the true essence of our practice. It would be great if you can breathe through your nose, but mostly breathe with consciousness, awareness. Slowing our breathing down. Maybe even creating a little pause at the top when you're full. A little pause at the bottom when you're empty. Blink your eyes open if you had them closed. Inhale, reach your arms out to the side in a V shape. And then exhale and lower your arms, palms face out. See if you can coordinate breath and movement. Inhale, arms up overhead. And then exhale, arms along your side. Think freedom and ease. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky. V shape overhead. Exhale, arms along your side. Inhale, V shape overhead. Exhale, arms along your side. We're going to add on. You ready? Inhale, V shape. Bend your knees, chair pose. Exhale, stand, arms along your side, palms face out. We'll do it again. Inhale, V-shaped chair pose, bending your knees. Exhale, stand, arms along your side. One more time. Inhale, V-shape, arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky. Exhale, stand it up. This time we'll sit in our chair for a moment. Arms out to the side. Let's refine our chair. Move your weight back into your heels. Have a little lift of your belly. You might prefer your arms wider. There's nothing wrong with that. We'll get a little endurance here. Make sure you don't forget to breathe. When we hold the poses, we're just holding the poses. We're not holding our breath. Can you see the bright horizon even though you're sitting in this uncomfortable chair? Hang in there, you're doing great. 3 more moments together. If you need to straighten your legs and return to your mountain before I mention it, go for it, anytime. Just slowly stand, arms out to the side, palms face out, Ears over shoulders, over hips, over heels. For this next bit, I'm going to use my chair. You can also use your blocks, they're tallest, and the way that you'll want to situate those is off to the two sides of your mat. So I'll give you both options. I'll demonstrate both options. Face your chair, be at the short front edge of your mat. If you're not using a mat, that won't apply, but be facing your chair and have your blocks right next to you. Chair pose, arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky in our V shape. Exhale, this time fold, hands to your thighs. Inhale, get a little bit longer. So it's a little half Surya Namaskara or Sun Salutation A. Exhale, a little bit more of a hip hinge. And then inhale into our chair, thumbs to the sky. Stand and let the arms come alongside you, palms face out. Again, like that. Bend your knees for chair pose, thumbs to the sky. Hands to thighs as you fold just a smidge at the hips. Inhale, grow a little bit longer. Exhale, a little bit more hip hinge. And then keeping your chair, bend your knees, arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky, and then stand it into your mountain. Palms face out. Adding on here. Chair pose, inhaling, V shape overhead. Hands to your thighs, little bit of a fold. Then your inhale takes you to a longer spine. Stay with your longer spine here. Either hands onto the base of your chair or hands to your very tall blocks. Step your left leg back and be in a lunge. Now, once you're in your lunge, feel your right hip draw back and your left hip draw forward. Energize your back leg. Keep the low belly lifted. So we have that feeling of the same strength we found when we were in our chair pose. And in a way, our front leg is in a chair and our back leg is almost like a leg for a plank pose or like our mountain pose, standing tall. Heart extends forward like we found when our hands were on our thighs in our little half sun salutation that we did. Stay for just a couple more moments where we are. You might even become a little bit lighter on your blocks with your hands. Eventually, maybe even running the arms alongside you just for a brief moment. And then return your hands to your blocks or the seat of your chair, firm through your belly. And step your left foot hip distance from your right foot, hands to your thighs. Inhale and grow that length. Exhale, a little bit more hinge at the hip. And then inhale, arms out to the side. We'll stay with our chair, I know, but we will for a moment. And then stand into the majesty of your moment, your mountain and your moment. And then bend your knees for chair. Hands to your thighs. Inhale, a little bit more length. Stay with the length. Hands to your chair or to your tall blocks. This time, it's the right foot that steps back and we make our way into our lunge. Now, left hip draws back, right hip draws forward a bit. You can think of it as mountain pose in the back leg and almost like our chair pose in the front leg. With all these bent-legged poses like our chair and this lunge, we're building some heat, which is a good thing. If it's too much, you can always skip the poses that you need to and take breaks. Remember, the advanced practice is one where you meet yourself where you are. Breath is steady. We have a stamp of emphasis into your left heel. And then while we're here visiting, if it feels appropriate in your body to lighten up on your hands on those blocks or on the seat of your chair and play with even bringing them alongside you for a moment, you can do that. Now be careful that this doesn't become a struggle with your chin forward. Feel the majesty of your mountain even here. Return your hands to your blocks. or to the base of your chair. Firm through your feet and your belly. Right foot hip distance from left foot and hands to your thighs. Inhale your heart forward. Exhale, a little bit of a hip hinge. Keep the bend in your knees, arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky, V shape, and then slowly stand into your mountain. Ears over shoulders, over hips, over heels. Pause, notice, feel what you feel so far. Again, we're going to use the chair. Perhaps you'll use your blocks tall. I'm going to suggest that most of us would be better using the chair, and it could be the seat side or the back of the chair for many of us is going to actually work even better. To our chair pose, because we love it so much. Hands to your thighs. Inhale, grow a bit longer. Hands to the seat or back of your chair. Some of you might place your hands onto your tall blocks. I'm not going to happen to do that. Now, stand on your right leg and begin to extend your left leg off the ground back behind you. So a moment ago, we put it on the ground and it was a lunge. Now we're turning our bodies into a bit of a T shape. You'll notice that I keep a bit of bend in my right leg, my weight-bearing leg. I'm not collapsed. We want to be careful of that. Keep growing taller and taller. Now, you might decide to get the tiniest bit lighter with your hands on your chair. Just a little playful balance moment. Do it your way. If it's not really time to take your hands away from your chair, then don't do it. A couple more moments, just as we are. Now, step left foot hip distance from right foot. Hands to your thighs. Inhale, grow a little bit longer. Exhale, increase the hinge at the hips, bending your knees, arms out to the side, a V shape overhead in our chair, and then stand into your mountain. You're doing great. Stay with me. Bend your knees, chair pose. Hands to your thighs. Inhale and grow a little longer. Once again, hands to the base of your chair, the back of your chair. Maybe a few of you are putting your hands on your blocks. And this time, stand on your left leg and extend your right leg back behind you. Go slowly. Keep a bit of bend in that weight-bearing leg. So your left leg. Think of a really strong kick and extension of your right leg and let your low belly lift away from the ground. We're not collapsed. We're not struggling. We're just playing. Think of it as a way to flow your way. Now, if part of that flow is to lift your hands or play with lifting your hands away from your chair a little bit while we're here, that's fine. And if it's not, that's fine too. And you really want to let it be fine. Remember, we're not thinking of this as right or wrong. It is what it is. And we bring to it our grace and our breath and our focus. Last couple moments just like this. And then right foot hip distance from left. Hands to thighs, inhale, grow a little longer. Exhale, increase the fold at your hips. Chair pose, you can shift the weight a little bit more into the heels, a V shape overhead. Then stand into the majesty of your mountain and pause for a moment. We need to move our props in our chair. You can take your two blocks, as I'm placing mine, to the two long edges of your mat. Also, take your chair, and if you want to use this for the next bit, place it right in the middle of your mat. So either of these or any of these props are great. Once you have them situated, take your time doing it. Be careful, move with care. Step wide out to the side, palms to the sky. Allow your legs to be as wide as your extended arms. So ankles under wrists is a pretty good way to think of this. And then turn your right leg out so that your right foot faces that short edge of your mat, and cheat your back heel back so that it's about a 45-degree angle. Bend your right knee. Now I can see that my knee is in front of my heel, so I need a wider stance. So you can just straighten your leg and then find that vertical line between your right knee and your right ankle, arms out to the side. Back leg is standing in your mountain pose. Front leg is sort of like our chair, except the articulation at the hips a little bit different. Warrior Two is the name of the pose. Now straighten your front leg in a V shape overhead, and then bend that front knee again. We'll do that twice more. Thumbs to the sky, and then bend that front knee. One more time, thumbs to the sky, V shape. Bend your front knee. Take your right forearm, like a karate chop, onto your right thigh. Thumb of your left hand stays to the sky. You can kind of gently convince your right thigh over towards the right side of your mat a little bit while we're here. And then extend your right arm, straighten both your front leg and take the arms up overhead like we just did. And then rebend your front knee one more time. Take your forearm across your thigh. Maybe your thumb goes a little higher to the sky. And then come back to your Warrior Two with arms out to the side. Straighten the front leg, V shape. We'll do that one more time. Dancing our warrior. Bend the front knee. Karate chop with your right forearm. Maybe left arm a little bit more to the sky. Back to your Warrior Two. Straighten. And V shape overhead. Now this time, bend the front knee, take your karate chop, and we'll linger a little bit longer. Now, if you need to or want to, you can flow your way and take both arms overhead and straighten the leg like we were doing, and then come back and join us. If that feels better to you, then that's what I would prefer that you do too. 2 more moments here. We'll come upright into Warrior Two with the thumbs to the sky. A feeling of your mountain pose in your back leg and a little bit like your chair in your front leg. 2 moments here. Slowly straighten the front leg, V shape overhead. A little bit different this time. Lower your arms, keep your front leg straight, hinge at the hip, reach out and either use your tall block or use the seat of your chair for your triangle pose. Right hand down, left arm up to the sky, thumb to the sky. Really connect into your right big toe mound. You'll feel a stretch in the inner thigh and in the hamstring. We're not locked out in that front leg, but we're also no longer in our warrior stance with a deep bend in that knee. It's a hip hinge. We don't want to have what's called side flexion, so you're not rounding. You have just a couple more moments. If this ever bothers your neck, you can look down. You can also just take your arm behind your back or hand to the hip if it feels like a very long time with your arm up. To come out of this, bend the front knee. Come upright as if we were back into our warrior pose, because guess what? We are. And then straighten your front leg, turn all toes to face the long edge of your mat. Turn your left leg out so that that foot faces the front short edge of your mat, and then cheat your back heel, your right heel back. Arms are out to the side. Our stance should be pretty good for this warrior because we were just in it for the first side, but experiment. Bend your left knee and then straighten the front leg and take that V shape overhead. Think of it as an experiment, like we're just tinkering in our laboratories, right? Bend the front knee, arms wide, and then straighten and arms overhead. Bend the front knee. Straighten and let the arms come overhead, thumbs to the sky. Bend the front knee. This time, left forearm across the thigh, right arm to the sky. Now we don't want to crumble, so a little bit of a karate chop there. And then come upright into a warrior two, V shape with your front leg straight. Bend the front knee. Forearm across the thigh, thumb to the sky. You're turning your bottom ribs towards the ceiling. Come back through your warrior two stance and then straighten the front leg V shape overhead. One more time like that. Bend the front knee. Forearm across the thigh, thumb to the sky, plenty of space between the shoulders and the ears. Warrior two and our V shape. Now this time we linger a bit. So warrior two and then forearm across the thigh. Thumb to the sky, stay for a moment. Make sure that your back leg is working also. Your breath is steady. Remember, you do you. If you need to go back to straightening the front leg like we just did, that's a beautiful way to flow. 2 more moments. Your left thigh bone is interested in making its way closer to the left side of your mat and not collapsing towards the right side of your mat, if possible. Warrior two. Stay with it if you need to straighten and then rebend the front knee, do it. Gorgeous. So slowly straighten your front leg, a V shape overhead. And this is where we're going to want to use our props. Lower your arms, hinge at the hip, reach out, find your tall block or the seat of your chair. Left hand down, right arm thumb to the sky. We're careful to keep a hip hinge. We're not side flexing. There is no struggle. Think of it as effortless effort. Just enough effort, no struggle. A couple of moments where we feel into the left big toe mound. There's a stretch in the inseam of your left leg and all along the back of your left leg too. To come out of this triangle pose, bend your front knee as if we were doing warrior two again, because we are. And then come up to your warrior two. Slowly straighten the front leg and turn all of your toes to face that long edge of your mat. Heel toe your feet until they're hip distance apart and you can make your way to the front edge of your mat. We want to move our props again. Take both of your blocks to the front edge of your mat where they were when we were using it to lift a leg, and take your chair out in front of your mat as well. So I want to make sure you take your time doing that. You can think of positioning your props as part of the practice, part of the integrity of moving carefully, mindfully. Now, standing in between your blocks, facing your chair, inhale with a little bit of our chair pose again, V shape. Hands to your thighs. Inhale, heart forward. Use your chair or use your blocks. Step your left foot back, and this time lower your knee, which is where you might want to bring your blanket to place underneath your knee so that you're a little bit more comfortable. Take both of your blocks, both of your hands to the inside of your right foot. You can be doing that on the base of your chair. And then it could be that you come onto your forearms here. Now, what I don't want is a whole lot of rounding. We're not desperate. All you're looking for is a little dash of sensation. This is Humble Warrior. I feel like it lives up to its name. It's quite humbling to be here. Extend your heart forward. So if you're using the base of your chair, it's still a heart forward feeling. We're not collapsed. And then think of this as a little moment of of meditation. I'm going to be silent. It's you and your breath. I haven't forgotten about you. Now come up onto your hands if for some reason you're on your forearms, which you may have done, or hands on your chair. Our transition's a little careful here. Just bring right knee next to left knee. Step your left foot forward and you can situate your blocks so they're both going to be on the inside of your left foot already, yeah? Into our humble warrior we go. Feel free to use your hands on the base of your chair. It could be that you come onto forearms, but again, we want to think of length through the spine. Just enough sensation to keep it interesting so that in a moment when I'm silent, you can notice our bodies are a little bit tightly wound and so are the thoughts in our head. So sometimes silence and simply being are really tricky. I know they are for me. Let's be still and stretch our attention and our muscles a little bit. Excellent. The most advanced yoga you'll do is that just being still, just being with yourself for a moment. If you're on your forearms, come onto your hands on your blocks or on the base of your chair, and then bring your left knee to meet your right knee. We're actually facing our chair. I think the chair is a pretty great tool. You're welcome to use your blocks out in front of you if you don't have one. I'm going to sit on my folded blanket. I highly recommend it. So you might want to do that or sit on a pillow even. Then you're going to take your legs wide out to the side here. And again, I want to make sure that you're propped up to a place where it feels okay. So bending your knees might be helpful. We're not interested in a forward fold. A lot like our humble warrior, just place your hands on the base of your chair, maybe some of you on your blocks. And pause. Curl your toes back towards you. Appreciate the stretch in both legs. That's a little bit like we did one at a time in our triangle. And then just stay here for a few moments. Now I'm going to give you agency in your own practice. You get to decide. You're going to flow this your way. You might decide to finish your practice like this. You could even carefully rest your forehead on your hands or lie back into our Shavasana final meditation. It's up to you. One's not better than the other. I'm going to lie back, move my blanket, but you can stay folded forward or resting on your hands in your wide-legged seat. 1 minute of silent meditation to finish our practice, to digest our practice. If you're in your Shavasana, bend your knees and place your feet on your mat. If you're seated at your chair, just stay where you are. Roll to your side if you're coming out of Shavasana. And sit any way you'd like to. You could even join our friends here with your hands on your chair. Thank you so much for practicing with me. My name is Andrea, and I can't wait for us to practice together again soon.